Evening, guys. This is a bit of a different broadcast in the sense of that we're going to focus on MGTOW tonight. But I've got to be honest, it's a few different elements to this, and I'm just going to talk a little second while I actually open up the channel for the chat so I can see what you guys are talking about. But today is an interesting one because there's, if you noticed the last video, we're actually talking about the realities of a guy that's basically been to the Philippines, messed around, and then gone back to the US, leaving two kids that basically have no support whatsoever. My view on MGTOW is very, very simple. It's okay not to get locked into that. MGTOW understands that this is where the Western system goes. But at the same time, a guy doing this, he is not MGTOW. He's just a parasite. He's just scum. He's just not worth, he's lower than a snake's belly. Because he is not doing anything that either supports MGTOW. In fact, it does the opposite, because people go, you know what? This guy ditched his kids, run away, left his wife or girlfriend, and then turns around and, you know what, he'll be difficult to get hold of. But from a MGTOW point of view, why do you think legal systems exist? It's these types of people create this stuff. This is what creates this barrage of abuse against guys saying, you know what, you cannot be trusted to just pay your alimony. You cannot be trusted to pay your child support, because we have guys like this that simply just disappear. And this is why I may sound quite aggressive against it, but at the same time, scum is scum. It's as simple as that. If you have kids, you understand the risk, you understand the responsibilities, and either don't have them or step up to the mark. As simple as that. Now, the other interesting thing about this, I know some guys will go, oh, well, it's used for a payday check or a bit of manipulation. The guy took the kid to another woman. So the guy's obviously had a bit of a taste at one, had a bit of a taste of another, moved the kid to where he was, and then he's thought, you know what, I'll go back to the US and have a bit of online dating and find somebody else. And I've seen this in the Philippines myself. I've seen this with, there was a guy about 70 who was trying this crap with where I was selling McDonald's, minding my own business, when this guy come in and he sat next to me and go, oh, I'm looking at this 19-year-old girl in Talise, I'm looking at this, and then my wife come from Gasano because she done a bit of shopping. I was just there to pick her up. This guy goes, do you want to see a magic trick? As if my wife is stupid. My wife just thought, this guy's just nothing. You know, he's low life. Because firstly, my wife's well educated. She's not an idiot. But this guy, he's obviously what I would class is in the realms of, you see, you can't call it child abuse, but a 19-year-old girl in the Philippines has a mentality of a 15-year-old on average from most of the ones I've seen and spoke to and know. But this guy was like somewhere between 19 and 21 and about 70-year-olds himself. And yet he is like texting, that day he texted 6 girls in different areas, Talise, Toledo, and other places. So what he was doing is he was basically setting a trap, because he was also explaining it to me about, oh, you shouldn't marry unless you're going to marry in Hong Kong, and then you've got for divorce, blah, blah, blah. From my point of view, I only marry once anyway. I didn't marry in the West. This is one of the things people may not know, is I never married in the West. I only married my wife, and that's been it. And our commitment is lifelong. That's one of the things that is very different for a lot of relationships, is our commitment is for life, which is, as Peter was here yesterday, he says, yeah, your relationship's very different to many people because we have our term a traditional marriage. And bear in mind, I'm not religious, but it's just that we have that strong connection that marriage should be lifelong. But then we got on to stuff today relating to some of the things that the expats are saying. I've got to admit, there is some of the stuff just bugs me because it's just boring, it's irrelevant, it's all not gossip, it's sad. It's a bit like, oh, Matt, I hear somebody said that you're this, and I'm just saying, and I'm just like, well, the fact that you're just saying just makes you sound really pathetic. Myself, if I dislike somebody, I would actually just say it. That's it. I'll be honest with you. I'm very open, and if you want to say, well, Matt, I'm not happy with this or whatever, fine. As people have mentioned, Barry's mentioned himself while living in one of the apartments, I turned around and said to him, you pay your rent, make sure it's on time, otherwise you're out. That's it, job done. I wasn't born stupid, and I haven't got any more stupid as I got older. Let's put it that way. I got wiser as I got older. I've got ongoing projects with things going on in different countries right now, and there may be something coming up in the very near future in the UK. But the point being is, I find a lot of people have too much time on their hands. And while people are going, oh, well, I've heard the gossip about Matt being this or that, yet at the same time, did anybody actually say anything positive in the sense of like, my friend Manuel dealing with the wheelchair scenario, sorting out customized wheelchairs for people in Minglanilla? Well, no, because we want to create a scene out of nothing. And that's what's sad. At the end of the day, you cannot be an expat community that sits and complains about what I would class as crab mentality when you're actually part and parcel of the worst crab mentality out there. Now, bear in mind, this isn't for everybody. I know a lot of people sit in the sidelines. I know a lot of people can't be bothered with the hassle and stuff. But what I'm talking about is the guys that actually go out their way to just stir crap for no apparent reason, and at the same time seem to lack the ability to even look in the mirror. See, the thing with myself is I'm very laid back, and you probably heard Barry battering on about meeting me in person, how different I am from being online. That's because, I am a laid back person. When I talk online, it's because it's more of an official capacity. If you actually know me, met me, or understand me, you would actually understand that, the connections are very, very different. Because when I talk on YouTube and stuff, I do limit access to things like my family and things that are going on in the background. But if you know me in person, it's very, very different. So when I'm involved with charitable organizations and things like that, I don't boast. I don't show this stuff online. I actually do this stuff in the background. Same with donations. I have no need to get a photo taken with a little big check or something else. I do stuff because I care about things in the community. And that's why I find it very bizarre that there's a lot of people in the expat community that seem to have a lot of time to just focus on complaining. And it's not even facts. It's just stuff that they're making up. And that is the sad thing. When people go, well, Matt's blacklisted in the Philippines. Oh, Matt's in the Philippines. Well, let's just not even cover that topic now. At no point did any of these idiots, and I do stress the word idiots, come back and say, well, I'm sorry, I've been proven as a liar, an idiot, and whatever. Instead, they'll just go, well, go quiet and we'll make up a new story because we have some people that are so stupid They all believe anything anyway, so we'll just move it to something else. Here's a bit of grim reality. Grim reality in the sense that where these scumbags, and they are scumbags because they're not productive, they're counterproductive. They've done nothing for the expat community. They've done nothing for the Philippine community. They've done nothing for themselves. They have issues within themselves. They're unhappy. What is happier than making other people as miserable as they are? Well, the answer to that is only if you let them do that crap to you. Today, it's like with Manuel. Manuel's been involved with one of the GMA TV station in the Philippines. GMA have funds and everything else and foundations available to donate to other foundations through their TV channel. Yet a lot of people are unaware of this. Now, one of the things I understand and I know from the fact of dealing with people that actually do stuff in the Philippines is it's not all about raising funds directly, because it's like many of the people I know are dealing with some difficult issues and they do get support already. And I know people going, oh, well, Barry's e-begging, Barry's e-begging. You know what? Nobody's telling you to donate. Not one person has told you you must donate. There is nothing being manipulated. There's nothing that's skewed. There is nothing actually he's actually doing which actually says anything beyond what he's actually doing. And as I've said before, when he was doing that thing with the plane ticket to the US, somebody asked me about that then, and I turned around and said, you know what, here you go, that's the US, fine. I put $50 on that myself. After that, that was the last time I donated. Here's a very simple thing. You don't have to give money to the guy. If you don't trust him, don't give him any money. Very, very simple. But instead, you get these sad, old farts that are predominantly people that have failed in the Philippines. And I do say failed because their wives are predominantly not with them anymore. They have this cling on, and not from the Star Trek version, cling on to belong or be part of something that they are no longer attached to. That they seem to think they're a part of the Philippines community. They are not. They have no attachment to the Philippines. There's no connection there. The wife left them. That was their only attachment. And as Jay mentioned before, last time one of the guys was in the Philippines was in the 80s. And I found this quite regular with several of the people out there, that they have no business attachment. They have no real emotional attachment beyond the fact that that is when they were last happy. That was when they were last happy. And at the same time, cannot let themselves go. Myself, if I'll be very blunt here, I wasn't looking to come to the Philippines. I wasn't looking to get married. I wasn't looking for any of this stuff. I was quite happily being content and single. And then I met my wife. 9 months later, we ended up getting married. But the point being is, unlike many of these other guys, I had no need to go to the Philippines. I had no need to meet somebody else. I was content. I was independent. I'm born and bred from a military background. We're used to being a male environment where we are not reliant on females. We do not need this obsession of family life, etc. But at the same time, I met the right woman. I met a woman that is smart, intelligent, educated, and family orientated, and at the same time, somebody who supports everything I do and believes in what I do. Now, this is the sad thing. When you look at what I've done in the Philippines since 2007, I went there without a pension. I went there without any funds or support. What we have is what we created in that period of time. A lot of people that are going there now are likely not to achieve the same as what we've done already. And this is what I find very bizarre when so many people are so critical. Because, you know what? I don't give a damn. At the end of the day, I've been there, done there, wore the t-shirt. I can go back. I've been back. Matt's blacklisted. Oh, Matt's been there now. Let's not talk about that. Oh, Matt's running this. You're pathetic. The guys that come out with this stuff, you are pathetic, sad individuals. Your life is below sad. Below sad. Myself, I like to lift people up. It's very easy to pull people down, and I'll be honest with you, you really struggle to pull me down because I don't give a damn. But at the same time, I will still fight in the same corner, because at the same time, like where people are trying to pull Barry down right now, Barry is not the smartest guy. Barry is not the most intelligent guy. At the same time, he's there where the budget is below what most people have, and he's still doing okay. Me throwing him a lifeline with a decent rent, a nice apartment and stuff, why does that make me a bad guy? You know, that is the funny thing. What? You'd love him to fail. As I said with the hobo before, the hobo was like the guy that was sat outside drinking alcohol in that little brown bag, barking at the moon and everything else. And I just thought, why are you even arguing with that guy? With Barry actually just wants to be able to stand on his own 2 feet. He may not be the best person with finance. He may not be the best person to manage his own money. But you know what? He is given the opportunity to sort himself out. It's very easy to pull people down. The hard bit is building people up. But if he's successful, do you think anybody's going to come and say, Matt, thank you, you know, you really helped him out, or anything else? Probably only Barry and Jay will actually say that, because the majority of people are quite happy to just keep whining, complaining, and running the guy down. And from my point of view, nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that. How the hell do you expect somebody to move on or progress if you're constantly trying to shovel them with crap over their heads? You've got to give some people a break sometimes. And myself, like I said, I can take the flak. I don't give a damn. What's important to me is other people get the chance. MGTOW's the way to go. Rasputin, Walloper. Yeah, Rasputin. That guy who sang the song died in the same city as Rasputin did. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing with MGTOW, I'm a strong believer in MGTOW, because I'm a strong believer in things like Fathers for Justice and other things, because I understand how manipulated things are. I don't know if I covered it today, because a lot of videos I do actually delete before I actually broadcast them, and one of them was relating to women. Women should have it's a woman's right to give to have bottled milk. When I say bottled milk, it's not bottled milk, because bottled milk is 2 ways. What they mean is formula milk, because you can have breast milk in bottles, but what they're actually talking about is formula milk. And that's what I find really bizarre on this stuff, is if like guys are actually sitting there dictating to what women should do, the average guy couldn't give a damn. You know, it's none of their business. And they don't get roped into this, but it makes it much easier to blame men for this stuff. Alan Romanson, I'm living in a poor area. Where is that? Is it Beverly Hills? There's more than one Beverly Hills, by the way. There's Beverly Hills in Cebu as well, up on the top. The air is cleaner up there. Tim Rogers define poor. Adam Moranza, Austria. is it poor? You've got clean air, good food and stuff. It's going to be one of those things where this is where I find the there's people talking to each other. Austria. I'll tell you what, when I'm in Austria next, which may be soon, send me your details. I'll come and visit you. How's that? I'll take you out for lunch. We have the Envo Power is where our power plants is our business, but one of the legalities and lawyers are in Austria, so maybe we can meet up. So one of my associates is actually doing the broadcast for Australia for the World Cup. He's actually a broadcaster. There you go. No, it's okay. I'm busy with my education. Well, Austria can't be that bad. It's not like you're missing a couple of meals a day. Yeah, Rasputin. Austria is a wealthy country. Thank you very much. And I mean, that's one part and parcel I say about visiting places like the Philippines is that you don't know what poor is until you've actually seen poor. When the price of rice goes up 200 pesos and you're cutting a meal out a day, that's poor. Vinci and MGTOW, you can buy me lunch, I'm poor. Yeah, but you're not in Austria when I'm there. Yeah, if you're in Austria at the same time, I will buy you lunch. Same time, if any of you guys are interested in blockchain, I do recommend going over to a conference being run by Pilar, which is called the Unconference, which is in Lithuania. I may actually be there. Again, I can't guarantee it. But very likely they'll be there. Rasputin, the poorest country I've been is in India. Yeah, India is one of those ones. It's the same as when I was in the Middle East. If you hear a water trickle sound, it's actually red wine. That's one of the things here in Spain is ridiculously cheap. Not that I'm drinking it every day. This is the first time in about 2 weeks. Yeah, when I was in Oman, we had two different currencies because the real, Omani real, which is what I get paid in, and there's the local currency, which the Indian guys and Pakistani guys get paid, which is baht. Because like 1,000 baht equals 1 real. So completely different lifestyle, completely different scenario. But yeah, I do understand the differences in the wealth level. Yeah, I don't need lunch. I need a driver car license. I'm depressed. I failed the car test 2 times. Maybe I need my glasses. But if you're failing your test, that's maybe more to do with the safety thing than being poor. Yeah, Rasputin, well, poor is relative. It is relative. But I do think if you actually experience what poor is to somebody below what you describe as poor, then it actually opens a lot of mindsets and expectations and changes that, you know, like in the UK, when people don't get an Xbox for Christmas and their parents are on benefits, they go, oh, we're poor. And I'm just thinking, but I'm paying your rent, I'm paying your meals, I'm paying for everything. You lazy fat, they're unfit to work, are living off my back. That's not poor. That's what I describe as parasitical. Rasputin's Walliper, Kuwait is wealthy, but many foreign workers are exploited. Same in Saudi. Yes, they are. And I worked there. I worked in Qatar. I worked in Kuwait. I worked in Oman. A lot of people, this is the bizarre thing. When people talk about equal pay, it's a complete farce. Because at the end of the day, I remember sitting in a meeting relating to a racist comment by my former boss, and I brought it up. This is with Carillion, and I was down in London raising this complaint, and they said, "Well, do you believe there's racism in the business?" I turned around and says, "Well, what do you describe as racism?" They said, "Well, what do you describe it as?" And I said, "Well, are we talking about the Middle East? Are we talking about Oman, Qatar?" And this director just laughed at me and says, no, we're just on about the PLC in the UK. And the funny thing is, the woman who's actually taken the notes and from HR was a Pakistani British woman. And she just looked at him and thought, what the? Because we actually grade people on their salaries based on where they come from. That's the reality. You know, people don't want to talk about this stuff. I'll talk about it. I don't care. There you go, Rasputin's wallet. I worked with a guy who had not had a pay rise in 20 years in Kuwait. There you go. This is the reality. The thing is, as there is what's called a monetization, they have the same in Kuwait, Dubai, and everything else, where they're trying to reduce the expats, where you're supposed to increase the number of local workers by 10% a year. But one of the problems you get is if you give the local population X amount a year, it's the same as the British benefit class in the sense there is no incentive to actually work. Matt, 55555, what's up? First time to catch you in a live chat. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, Rasputin's wallet. Yeah, they are extremely wealthy. You've got to understand, all these people see these people as crap. And it goes through. It doesn't matter which country. In the UK, I went through the same stuff. My average working week was 120 hours. And I only got paid for 39. And I brought it up as a saying, look, you expect me to travel on the weekends. You expect me to do this, that, and the other. And you know what the response was? You should be flexible. You need to be flexible for the company. I said, I am flexible, but you're abusing it to the max. And then they said, well, we had a meeting about this. And I said, okay, we'll have a scheduled meeting. And there is like multiple people, because this is obviously a what do you call it, a annual review. So you got people coming from all over the United Kingdom, and it was agreed to meet in the West Midlands. Do you know where the meetings ended up? One place, one very, very important place, London, because the people that control everything are in London and would not come out of the city. Whoa. Hey, thanks for that. 5555 just donated $5. I love that. Thank you very much. I'll actually put that to, yeah, I'll buy you a bottle of wine. There you go. I'll put a bottle of wine on the table. So next time, next live chat, I'll have another bottle of wine for that. I appreciate that. Rasputin's Walliper. In Saudi, many employer locals who do not actually work, but the government dictates that they should employ locals due to the large number of young unemployed people. It's all over the Middle East. While I was in Oman, they added an extra 75,000 people to the police force just because they needed to create jobs. There was a royal decree. We need to employ these people, and that's it. There's no need for them, but it's just like we need to employ everybody. I think this is one of the problems you have, and it's one of the things I have to admit the world is suffering with overpopulation. It's the fly in the ointment. It's the words not described. It's the reality. The world is full of people. You know, when people say, well, you know, we're worried about these people, they're really bad people. In my viewpoint, I can't actually say here on YouTube, but I would get rid of them. There's a polite way. Here's Alan Romanson. Oh, hang on. I clicked the wrong one. But the whole point is, should you... I clicked that. Put it again, Alan, and I'll put it live for you. I apologize for that. As a young guy, you can't even get a job to living decent life. Their life is doomed. I'll be honest with you here, Alan. Alan, I worked all over the planet and I make money regardless. And I'm sitting in Spain, yet my Spanish is still diabolical. And I'm the first person to say my Spanish is crap. I made money in Spain. I made money in the Philippines. I've been overseas a decade. So never turn around and say that the world owes you a living. What you need to look at is like a chess game. How do you change the game so that you win? 4-hour work week. That, although I hate the guy that wrote it, is a opinionated whatever. One of the things he did was actually cheat on the weight ratio by starving himself to go into to fight for the kickboxing to win, because he's already at a different weight class because he cheated. Now, is he cheated because he was underweight or not? Well, the answer to that is that's life. And the problem you have in today's world is like, I remember my daughter went to a, what do you call it, a sports day. Everybody gets a certificate. So a little fat kid that was eating KFC before he actually ran gets the same as the kid that's been running for the last 6 weeks trying to improve their speed and everything else. You get a certificate. That is the failure of the United Kingdom. That is the failure of the Western world. It's the acceptance that nobody should be better than anybody else. Don't get me onto diversity and equality, because they do not match. I did bring this up before. Okay, I'll click that show. Yeah, 555. Cheers. You're welcome. Yeah, Rasputin. The bright side of life, things can change very quickly. Hey, look at me. This week I am getting my crypto tank. I've lost about $30,000 in a week. And yet, am I whining about it? Well, I'm having some wine, but I'm not complaining, because at the end of the day, I only put $400 in to start with. I want to have my car license and a job. Why can't I get this? Alan, you need to look at it yourself. Why did you fail the test? That is the question. Yeah, Ventian, MGTOW, there is nothing. I'm then over 700,000. There you go. That's the point. Myself, I own about 40 cryptos. Not just one, but I've actually got 9 coming through. One of the things I do want to point out is I actually get paid by many of the companies as well to actually do stuff, assisting them. So I'm on a win-win, but that's me. That's the end of the day. That's how I work. That's how I roll. I don't lose money. Very rarely do I lose money. Yeah, I own Bitcoin, I own Ethereum, and I have many other projects. Yeah, the MGTOW, Venture and MGTOW, the same number of Bitcoins. I expect them to go back to 20K by the end of the year. What you've had today is the fact is Tether has actually come out through Coinbase. The bizarre thing is, I mean, this is one of the things I do find is a problem in the crypto space, is Coinbase and Cointelegraph and a few of the others are centralized. So when they were talking about Tether actually not being able to pay the debts and all this sort of stuff and fake manipulation, well, there's no surprise there. There's no way Tether would have been able to match that money. It has been fake from day one. But the thing is, today, that's where that crash come from. It's from Tether. My personal view, though, is like now, don't sell. Like yourself, I'm simply going to be looking at picking up some contract work, and I may be in the UK for a few months, but at the end of the day, I'm expecting to shoot up like no tomorrow. Yeah, there's a risk with not many companies like the Japanese one. There is always risks. This at the moment is speculation. At the end of the day, The way I put it is very simple. In the crypto space, I bought Ant shares at, I think it was $2. It went to 100 and I think it was $112. So did I make or lose money? The answer, even today, if I sold and had not sold and reinvested in whatever, I'll still be in profit. That's the reality. The thing with the crypto space is because of the deregulation, it is being manipulated like no tomorrow. But in all honesty, I'm ahead of the game anyway. I got a new car. I've lived on it for about 10 months now. I've got a lot of funds I'm sitting on. The worst case scenario, I'll go back to work next month. But even then, I just sit on it till the market recovers. Where a lot of people lose out is they invest in the wrong things in the first place. Myself, I've had a few things burn me, but at the same time, like anything else, you limit your risk. It's a bit like the video I was putting earlier relating to the exchange, because the whole point of that is go on there, you trial it, you test it, do dummy runs first, do dummy runs for a few months. A friend of mine's been doing dummy runs now for 2 years on Forex and other exchanges before he invests, because he's going to do it on the margin. So the thing is, his risks are probably up to $100,000 a day. So the point being is, he is not in a rush to lose money. He's in a rush to learn how to make money. So he took his time, understood the systems, understood the markets, and now ready to enter those marketplaces. Yeah, Alan Romanson, I hope you have a good test on your next one. Fingers crossed you pass. Rasputin's Walloper, will a traditional bank accept a cash transfer from a Bitcoin account? Coinbase, they're already accepting from Coinbase. I get them in Spain, you can get them in the UK, and pretty much US and everywhere else. But the US accepts it, it's pretty much accepted anywhere on the planet. There you go. 5555. I deal in antiques. Invest $1. Try to sell for $10. You are in the right game. My brother and my father made a good amount of money, and I can't disclose too much because obviously a tax man's always at bay. But for example, if you bought a vase at £40, I'll give you an example. Clarice Cliff. There was a set that they bought for £30 because nobody knew what it was. And it's a tea set, is the jugs, and it's on a tray. It's like toffee. It looks like toffee. It's ugly as anything. But the tray on its own is worth 140. The milk jug's 80. Each saucer, is £30. Each plate is 45. It's not difficult to make money on antiques if you know what you're looking at, because a lot of people have no idea. Same as my brother's very good at Wade. But a lot of that, you need to understand what you're looking at. One of the things they do is they'll actually run, if they're at an auction, for example, they'll run the Wade through their teeth, because what they're looking for is the cracks, because they'll fill the cracks and you can feel the imperfections if you run it on your teeth. It's a good game to get in, but be aware it's full of crooks. But at the same time, if you understand it, you can make a good load of money. Yeah, Alan, you have in Australia 1 year to complete driver license. After the time runs out, you must pay all again and make all the tests again. I think in Germany, I don't know if it's changed now, but it used to be like if you failed it twice, you couldn't sit it a third time. That was you banned. Yeah, fives. If you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. It takes experience. Yeah, my brother I'll tell you now, my brother can tell you, if you put any weight in front of him, he could give you the book price just off his head. He knows them inside out. That's something that I cannot take away from my brother. If it comes to that, the best dealers couldn't do better than he could, because that is what he focuses on. My father's Clarice Cliff, and there's some others that he do. But that's the thing with antiques, is you focus on the ones that you can profit on, you've got an interest in. There's no point profit on it if you're not interested in it. It's a bit like here. I come across a wooden stamp for the old SS, German SS, for the stamps of the documents. The funny thing is, I was at the auction, and the first thing I did is I Googled it on the US market, and it come in at 120 euros. And the funny thing is, everybody's watching what I'm doing, because they're trying to see what I've seen. They're wondering what I've seen that they haven't. Yet at the same time, it's already above that price anyway. It was about 140, which means it was nearly impossible to sell. There was definitely no profit in it, because you obviously got the 140 plus the auction fees, which are horrendous as well. Croatia's good for holidays. Croatia's a beautiful place. Yeah, there you go. Rasputin said, beautiful towns, a beautiful seaside. Yeah, a lot of people go to Croatia. You know what you should start up if you want to make some money? Set it up for Western guys go there on stag nights. Just going out there for drinking sessions, the old alcohol and party time. Set yourself up in a bar. You'll do quite well. Yeah, 555. I have my own stores, no need for auctions, taking my profits. Yeah, in Spain, we had a lot of this trading is actually done through the auctions. I've got a few friends that made money on vinyl as well, because obviously we've got a high retirement age here, in the sense that we have a not that they're going to 96. What I mean is we have a lot of retirement age people coming to Spain, but they have a lot of vinyl, antiques, and other stuff coming with them, and then they pop their clogs while they go into the auction, because a lot of people do not know what they're looking at. So it's worth going through that. A friend of mine, when he was struggling financially here in Spain because of the housing market, because he was a salesperson, he just focused on the vinyl, because he can make money off the vinyl, because mainly Spaniards buying the vinyl for old music and stuff. So a friend of mine, he was trying to sell me his entire collection for 10,000 euros, but it was, I think, probably about 20,000 vinyl albums. So yeah, it could have been payoff, but at the same time, I couldn't offload that amount of music, even though I wanted to. I'm not a DJ either, so I couldn't even sell it in the sense of doing some music on the side. Dave Robbins, all places are nice if you have money. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This is one of the things about the Philippines. A lot of people differ between holiday mode. Well, sorry, don't differ between holiday mode and reality, because they don't recognize the difference. So when they go back a month later with a limited budget, they're going, hang on a minute, we were eating in a restaurant every day, and now our budget says once a month. They can't do it. Alan, there is always a positivity. You only need to get through that driving test. That's all I'm saying. Just focus on the driving test. Why did you fail? Focus on that. Don't get so uptight about it, because you just need that to get you through to the next level. life is always going to throw some spanners in the works. And the one thing I do recommend is just understanding what the problem is. One of the things I will say, one of the things that I do relating to awkward situations is I will find the person that actually signs things off or whatever and ask them, what is the issue? What do I need to do? And that's the first thing. Don't go on the defensive. You go in there and say, okay, what do I need to do to make me pass? Because then it makes them think they are the mentor. They're in charge. It puts them from defensive to helping you. And you just say, you know, what do I need to do to make this happen? How do I make this happen? And they will turn around and say, you know what, this is what you need to do. But if you go in there aggressive or whatever, they're not going to help you. Just go in there with the right mindset to change it. Go in there and say, well, how do I make this happen? What am I doing so wrong? And do it before you test. Speak to them directly. Anybody, I'll be honest with you, all you guys, anybody can be manipulated, good or bad. At the end of the day, you can go in there and you can change things by going in there with the right mentality. But try and do this before your next appointment. If you have an appointment for a test, don't go in an hour before. Contact the guy this week and speak to them directly and say, well, come on, what do I need to do? You know, how do I do this? Make it right. That's the way to do it. Do not accept that in life you're failed or whatever. You need to think smarter. Do it the clever way, which is instead of going in with being aggressive or whatever, reverse it. Because you go in there with a aggressive, then they're aggressive. Go in there with a more pacifist way of looking at it and just approach it in a way where you're saying, what do I need to do? How do I make this work? What do I need to do to make you happy? What I do? And you're more likely to have a positive response. Always. No, I'm not saying you are aggressive, but I'm saying if you actually speak to the instructor in a way, just describing, saying, look, what do I need to do? What is wrong? How do I improve this? They'll do it. Just approach them. Buy them lunch. Anybody can be manipulated. Anybody. Venetian MGTOW. Thanks, bro. I got to go. My water pumping. I can save a couple of $100 this way. Go for it. Yeah, 65 euros an hour is crazy. I know it's here in Spain. It's crazy. You know, I think it's cheaper for my wife to go on holiday to the UK and pass her test. Yeah, there you go. Venetian one guy. So I put an engine into a guy's boat, and in return he let me drive his truck, so I could get my commercial license, save a ton of money. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You can manipulate things in your favor. Favors for favors. That's how I've gone through life. And I've pushed this before with a lot of people. Some of the guys that met me here in Spain have recognized that what I say about the importance of networking. Never see anybody as an enemy. See them as a friend. Even if you dislike them, they're to your advantage if you don't. You know, you can hate people in the background, but ultimately you have to do stuff in your favor if you want to get on in life. Derek Robbins, if you make your license in Croatia and then get it transferred to Austria, is that a way? Yeah, it's to do with taking the test. All I'm saying is just speak to the guy. Speak to the guy behind the counter. Speak to the guy that does the test. Yeah, Derek Robinson. In Germany and Austria, I believe there's a compulsory to have a certain amount of hours before you take the test. I agree with Derek because I know I was looking into this. I was finding the German side have quite a robust system. I think that's the polite way of doing it. Because if you fail after so many times, they just kick you out and that's it. You have to do a medical and everything else. And I thought, well, but at the same time, maybe that's a good thing, because one of the problems you have, like in the UK, is if everybody passes the test, the whole environment is based on anybody can move anywhere. But if you actually turn around and say, well, it's much harder to pass the test, there may be less jobs involved moving 50 miles away, and instead would actually be more localized because they recognize not everybody will pass the test. So I think Germany may have that actually right. Rasputin, why is the Philippines vlogging community so hostile? It's not just vlogging. It's an interesting point, Rasputin. I look back in 2005 and I seen this sad little French Greek guy that was abusive to guys back then. That were tied with what we call the what they call it, live in the Philippines like a king, or and the fact that you could have servants and everything else. And the same person, unfortunately, is still alive today. But the point is, a lot of it is based on the fact that too many people have too much time. Myself, this is why people go, Matt, you should defend yourself. Matt, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. At the end of the day, I've got better things to do with my time. What? It's a bit like, well, people say, oh, Matt's blacklisted from the Philippines. And I go, okay, well, now I'm in the Philippines. Is there an apology? Is there anything else? Well, no, we'll just ignore all that stuff because we like talking crap when people aren't here. But as soon as you disprove it, we just pretend it never happened. Journey Mike, yeah, from Tom Jones. Any views on Journey Mike? So you're talking about Mike and his heart attack thing. It's the same with everybody else. I'll be honest with you. If anybody wants to donate to that sort of stuff, then go for it. If you don't want to, don't. I don't know Mike enough to actually judge the guy. I don't know him personal. So my personal view is I'm very limiting on what I give to anybody online anyway. So it's not that I hate the guy. I've seen some of the stuff he's put out there, and a lot of it seems very genuine. That's all I can say. Rasputin's wallpaper, even nice bloggers get constantly abused. Well, yes, of course they do, because their whole point is you've got a media circus of people that have too much time on their hands on a daily basis. Now, I remember on Link, living in Cebu's forum, before all this YouTube stuff started, where people would abuse each other anyway. Because what would happen is, and the thing is, I know a lot of the expats directly back then. So what happened is you go out for a beer and you might be out with about 10 or 12 of the expats, and they'll go home and they'll get online after being intoxicated, and then they start arguing with each other. As simple as that. And I've seen a British expat in Naga. He got so hyped up when he knew he upset somebody because he used to live in the same subdivision years ago. And I'm just thinking, what is wrong with you? Because you go out your way to annoy this guy. And that's when I found out about a month later, he'd already been banned from 12 other forums. And I just thought, you need to get out more. There's more to life than this garbage. Yeah, Derry Weapons, ignoring these idiots the best way. They want a response. Of course they want a response. They want to be noticed, and that's the sad thing. But you know what? If you went up to the door, I think they need to wear adult diapers for most of them. Because the garbage they come out with is... It's not only sad, it's a desperation. It's a desperation. I think that's why some of it is the lowest echelons of societies, where they try to make things so disgusting because they're hoping somebody would actually take notice of them. If they're unhappily married or whatever, you know what? Get a life. That's all I can say. I mean, that is the sad thing. I mean, there is a guy, the French Greek guy, he actually seems to spend a lot of his time in adult entertainment stuff, and I just think you're disgusting, you're sad, you're vulgar, and there's something seriously wrong with you. Yeah, Rasputin's Wallaby. If someone appears quite happy, they want to drag them down. Chris Britt I don't think he's a nice guy, but I don't think he's as happy as he implies. Yeah, Chris is a funny one, but I don't think that he may or may not be happy. When I've seen him, he doesn't seem to portray somebody with a lot of depth. So I don't think he has an emotional depth to him. So although he may seem that he's unhappy or whatever, it may just be that his persona is like that. I've got to admit, I don't have a Disney smile. I don't overdo it. And I mean, unless you actually know me in person, it's very unlikely that you'll see me where I'm ecstatic about something. So I can understand from Chris's point of view, he may not actually give his full persona online, but he may not even have it. I mean, there is a British Reserve that exists. Chris seems to crave attention. I don't know. I don't watch his channel, so I can't really judge on that. I did used to watch it in the early days, but when they started the asking for money stuff, I simply switched off. And I suppose that's the difference between me and a lot of the people that whine. Is I simply just disconnect from something. If somebody starts e-begging or something, you know what? I just switch the bloody thing off. You don't have to follow anybody's channel. That's the thing with YouTube. It's a bit like flicking through on satellite TV. You may only actually watch 4 channels, and you've got 100 channels there, but you don't sit there putting negative comments on the other 96, do you? But on YouTube, it seems that way. Rasputin Polyper, he talks about paradise, but is living in a place that is very impoverished. I like him personally, but doubt he's as happy these days. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, this is a bit like me in Spain. I've got to admit that the difference between Spain and the Philippines, and I get told off by the Spanish for saying that Spain is Philippines 2.0, but the environment I live in Spain for the same cost as the Philippines is 100 times better. You know, at the end of the day, where I am right now, costs me about the same cost of living. In the Philippines, the difference is I have private medical insurance. I have a swimming pool. I have a tennis court. I have a brand new car. I have major infrastructure for the same cost of living. We have low crime. I don't have to worry about somebody stealing my bloody tomato outside like I do in the Philippines. The poverty value is completely different. And that's the thing. The infrastructure is very different. So from that point of view, I can understand. But at the same time, I do like the Philippines in the sense that I like the freedom. I like going there on my motorbike and just going out there and doing my own thing. I like the fact that it is very laid back and nobody gives a damn about what you're doing. So there's 2 sides to the coin. So, but it's definitely, if you look at it from a poverty point of view, Spain would be a better option for anybody. 100%. Derek Robinson, I have a problem with a lot of the vloggers asking for money and the pretense that they will use it for good causes. Before they went to the Philippines, they never did this type of do good work. Yeah, I've got to be honest with you, Derek. I don't give money to anybody. I do give money to projects, which is very different. You probably noticed that today, if you look at Manuel is actually a friend of mine. And you may have seen him on another video where we actually, well, I bought him lunch. Manuel is very proactive in helping people in the Philippines. He's got these new wheelchairs that are they're custom made for the person because he has issues himself. That's all. I'll be polite on that side. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but he understands that you need to have the back at a certain point, the cushions and everything else. It's got to be a certain point. And one of the things that Minglia didn't have is a representative for a GMA. GMA Foundation is from GMA, the television company, and they have money. They want to give money, but there was nobody in the area that actually did this. So this is why he turned around and got involved and spoke to them directly, and now they're actually putting these wheelchairs together for these people. That's the stuff I get involved with. Central School in Mignanelia, I've donated computers to. I've dealt with stuff relating to incubators. I've dealt with stuff with medical emergencies and other things. But you know what? I don't ask people for money. It's my money. That's one of the things I will stress. And that's why I find it really bizarre when some of these people try to run me down, because at the end of the day, I haven't asked for anybody for anything. I pay my way, and not only do I pay my way, I give my own money. That's a different thing. I'm not asking for money, I give my own money. Rasputin, I'm in Cyprus. I spend less here than in Thailand. And the place is very clean and has great facilities, first world, not third world. But there you go. You're in exactly the same environment I am. You know, at the end of the day, you're talking about exactly what I'm talking about. We have waste collection 3 nights a week, if not 5. The reason I can't tell you exactly how often the waste collection is done, because it's not in the afternoon. It's done during the night when I'm in bed. So the bins are always collected, and if somebody throws, I mean, this is a bizarre thing. Like this week, somebody has thrown out a desk, bedside cabinet, wardrobe, and all this stuff by the bins. They'll take it away. But a lot of times you'll get people turn up on a bike. They'll find up somebody that is working with them, and they'll come and take them away and stick them in the auction next week. I love all that stuff. At the end of the day, I have no issue with people taking this waste and actually reusing it. I'd rather it went to an auction and they made a little bit of money than it was crushed and sent to landfill. Alan, what is so stupid in Croatia? Driving license and traffic law. I am not so dumb, and people believe I do not understand how to drive a car and don't understand the entire traffic law. I don't know. I haven't assessed your driving, so I can't put any judgment on that. All I can say is I do recommend speaking to the person who assesses it outside of your testing. So you're going to speak to them before or after. You may be able to negotiate something that will get you through the test. Bill J, the problem that there are field vloggers themselves that criticize Mike, and those same bloggers could wind up in the same position, sick in the Philippines, and it's a bad spot. Yeah, Bill, I'd have to say I do advise people out the medical insurance, and a lot of people think I don't know what I'm talking about, but you understand completely. Myself, I have private medical insurance. I have medical insurance for how much is it? I think it's 16,000 euros if I got sick in the Philippines while there. I covered on my Philippines insurance, plus I have medical insurance for emergencies as well. A lot of people don't bother. Yeah, there you go. Rasputin's one, but nighttime collection in Cyprus also no capital gains tax or dividends. There you go. Yeah, that's exactly the same. It's a different environment. That's the thing. I do like living in Spain, and a few people have said about Greece, and Greece is very similar. You know, the waste collections and everything else is done at night. The infrastructure is good. And the only problems they've had is the same in Spain as they have in Greece, is people have used and abused it, in the sense of everyone wants to retire at 45. But yeah, that won't last long anyway. Alan, the Croatian language is so weird. I speak only German. Yeah, I don't speak Croatian at all. I do speak some German though. Yeah, Bill J. Sure, medical insurance is the key, but most probably don't have it. I would say it's not probably, they don't have. Most don't have insurance. And it's one of the things I do stress on budgets. And I know 90% of people I mention to you will not bother. Because even when I sit in malls with these guys, have a coffee or whatever, they'll say, well, I'm here till I die. What they don't think of is that 2 years later, when they have a stroke or a heart attack, is they may exist and be stuck there because they didn't die. And that's one of the sad things people don't really understand, is that, it's all right to assume that you're going to go out in one go. But a lot of people don't. They go on for a long period of time. They drain the house. When I say drain the house, in the sense that the house needs to be sold, they just financially drain everything. That's happened about 6 times now with the expats I've known. They've said, I'll be all right. I have some money. We'll buy a house, do this, do that, bought the house, had a heart attack. 2.5 million pesos later, he's dead. The wife is left with the debt, plus lost the house. What a great way to live. But yeah, as Tom Jones says, 70 chasing young girls, bad heart, and no insurance. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Derek Robbins, I knew a few Austrian guys who had 3 drinks driving convictions and they went to Croatia to get a license because Austria was so expensive. There you go. You need Alan, speak to Derek. Derek seems to know what he's doing. The problem is I don't have family in Croatia. Maybe not, but Derek may know actually some people who can do it for you. Rasputin Walloper, a guy died in the hospital theater in Chiang Rai due to a heart condition. He was abused online. How can you abuse? I mean, this is a sad thing. How can you abuse somebody for dying? Myself, all these guys did not expect it to happen to them. My wife will tell you about myself is she knows I put myself through a lot of can't call it trauma, I suppose, experiences. My eyes are now looking at cataract surgery because of the time I spent in the desert. I have a hole in my left ankle. I have a hole in my left wrist. And she knows that I'll push things to the limit. Now, for me, do I blame her for my failures or the fact that she tells me just to stop doing this stuff? For myself, I'll still keep pushing myself to the limit. So this is why I can't see why anybody would abuse somebody online, because from my perspective, I'll just keep pushing on. But at some point, your body will give up. But the difference is you never know when. So I could never turn around and say, well, that guy was wrong to do this or that, because some of you guys are military experienced and trained. If everybody sat back, how much would get done? And that's the whole point. My childhood, my upbringing is all military. My responsibility is to push things forward. So at the end of the day, you have no acceptance of failure, because your responsibility is of everybody around you. So you will always push forward to make sure that everything is achieved. Eventually something will give in, but you cannot accept that you are going to lose, because at the end of the day, you cannot afford to give in early on. When you give in, the whole point is that somebody should follow. Other movements. Derek, I must be saving 6 months until I have 2,000 euros and I could go to Croatia, make a drama license, and living by my grandma in Croatia. A few months until I finish the drama license. Rasputin, he was accused of being a scammer because he asked for donation. It turns out he was telling the truth. His name was Graham Breyer. What work experience do you have, Alan? There's two conversations going on here. Rasputin, well, the truth is that we all fail our way to success. Well, I mean, even if you look at old, what's his name from Apple? His name escapes me. Old Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs thought he could beat cancer, and it killed him. That's the point. I mean, the thing is, I did not expect that I will live forever, but the whole point is I will push as far forward as I can. I'll push my limitations. I'll push the boundaries, and that's the point. I will keep going because the importance to me is my family. The importance to me is actually making sure they have an environment to follow and be successful and lay the foundations for. So for me, I don't think about the other stuff. This is why my wife is quite important, because she knows I'll keep going regardless if I'm burned out or not. Because I'll just keep pushing the limits. Derek Robbins, my advice, Alan, is find work locally, use the trains and buses, save up your money, and then do your license. Good luck. I would work everything, but in Croatia, you can never get a job. Okay. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to go. It's been great talking to you guys. Good doing a live show. And I have to admit, with the MGTOW stuff, back on topic, the MGTOW stuff I think is very important. Because a lot of it's been, they're trying to stigmatize and limit what is MGTOW in the sense of it's a only white guy thing. It's only depressed males. It's only ex-divorced, blah, 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 which is actually all incorrect. The reality is MGTOW is far broader than that. MGTOW is a representation of recognizing the problems within society today, which is allowing the dismantling of Western society. And I do say dismantling because when you get into diversity and equality do not make sense. You cannot be equal and diverse at the same time. You can only be equal or diverse. Because if you have to sacrifice other people's jobs to allow the token person from whatever environment, then you cannot be both, which is what is the reality. And for me, there's a few comments. Hi, Derek. What was your question? Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. That's my fault. Put it again, and I'll put it live. When did MGTOW start? I assume what the question was. I have no idea. I was already MGTOW before MGTOW was even formed. Before I met my now wife, which would be 2006, 2007, I was happily being single. I had no interest in a relationship. I had no interest in being with anybody else. I was actually buying a Porsche Boxster, moving into the post box in Birmingham. And then that all went astray when I randomly met my wife through another friend. In the sense that he was online dating and he asked me to review his profile because we sat there on a Saturday afternoon, summer Saturday afternoon, nice warm Saturday afternoon in his little apartment. I was crashing out on his sofa because he said, "Oh, Matt, you know, because at that time I split with my ex. I was like looking for the new apartment, so I wasn't in a rush to find anywhere else, and I was just crashing at mates' places. I had a nice Volvo V40 back then, a new Volvo V40, and pretty much just chilled out. And he said, you stay at my place, mate. So I used to keep on his sofa. And one Saturday afternoon, he's like, I'm on this dating site. So I went and I looked at it. Wait, what's going on here? And his name was Good Size. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And then I was starting to rewrite his entire profile. And the bizarre thing is that the photos hovering around, one of them was my wife, around, because I just thought, we have an instant attraction. I just like clicked, I'm not on this website. This is my email, get in touch. 3 days later, she messaged me and said, I nearly got banned on that website because you're not supposed to share information. And that was it. We spoke that day, spoke every day for 9 months, and then we just hit it off. Eventually getting married. Bizarre thing is, from my wife's point of view, her and their workmates have just got tired of Filipino guys in the Philippines, and they got together and said, you know what, let's just sign up on a website and see what happens. And they're all married. They're all married foreign guys, and call it a day. They've all moved off. Different countries, all in Europe, funny enough. But the point is, it was so random, it was bizarre. But for me, I was quite happy being single. My wife knows that's why I'm so laid back, you see. I'm not... a lot of guys get bitter or annoyed or something. Myself, I'm just chilled. I couldn't care less. What website was that? Derek, it was Cherry Blossoms. It was Cherry Blossoms, 2007. So the point is, for me, I understand MGTOW. Myself, I was already MGTOW. And they say, well, but you're married now. But the point is, I wasn't even looking to get married. And people that know me, and this is why I stress this about people that make nonsense. And I do say nonsense because it is. If you know me, you'll know the connection between me and my wife. We're 100% together. It's one of those relationships you would still see us together at 80. That's how solid our relationship is. For me, there is no interest in other women. My wife's not interested in other guys. At the same time, those sort of relationships are almost mythical these days. But it's just the way it is. It's just content. It's a bit like some guys will be a bit like, what? You brought your mother-in-law over on holiday? Because she's not just my mother-in-law, she's my mother. Because we lost 2 members of family in the last 2 years. As such, I look after the family we have. That's it. Simple as that. And my mother-in-law has been a fantastic woman. My father-in-law is a very important guy to me and somebody I'll never forget. So even when I went back to the Philippines, that was one of the fundamental things I did, was to go and see where he was buried. Because although there's a few people with me at the time, but they don't realize that I went back in my own time as well, because it was a personal thing. But that's the netness, the closeness that we have within our family group. I do think that's the sad thing. I mean, even within my own family, my extended family, should I say, that's all gone. It's all gone. My closeness to my Filipino family is much stronger than my Western family because fundamentally, the Philippine family are together. My Western family are concerned over who's driving what, how big their house is, and all this stuff. You know what? It's disgusting. It's vulgar. It's not what I'm about. You know, at the end of the day, family's family, and that's it. I don't belittle. I don't judge. If your brother is a brother, he's a brother. It doesn't matter what he's doing or what everything else. He's still your brother. That's all that matters to me. And it's the same, regardless if they're in the West or the Philippines. It's exactly the same. But I find too much has changed in the West these days, where they're more concerned. What are you driving? What are you doing? And it's like, it's just sad because it doesn't matter. Blood is blood. If you lose that, you've lost everything, including integrity. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Thanks for watching. It's midnight here now, so have a fantastic evening, and thanks for chatting, and enjoy spending the evening with you guys. Thanks for watching.